There's something deeply unsettling about death, an inevitable force that looms over us all, yet remains beyond our control. It's a topic that invokes feelings of fear, uncertainty, and often a sense of helplessness. Most of us live in an attempt to avoid thinking about it, hoping the fear of the unknown will disappear with time. But what if instead of running from death, we learn to accept it as an essential part of life? What if, by embracing our mortality, we could unlock a deeper level of clarity, decisiveness, and presence in every moment we live? In the realm of martial arts, this concept is more than just a philosophical thought. It's a practical guide for living fully and freely. The legendary samurai Miyamoto Musashi, one of history's most revered martial artists, expressed a radical perspective on death that continues to inspire warriors, philosophers, and thinkers to this day. His advice? Do not fear death. Musashi encourages us to live without the crippling weight of fear, to understand that death is inevitable and to allow its presence to guide us, rather than hinder us. The martial artist's path is a journey not just of physical skill, but of mental fortitude and spiritual clarity, where death is acknowledged but never feared. And this, my friends, brings us to one of the most profound lessons we can learn. To live fully, we must stop running from death and start accepting it as part of the journey. Welcome to the Unfolding Journey YouTube channel, where we explore the wisdom of the greats, dissect timeless philosophies, and seek to live life with purpose, clarity, and courage. In today's episode, we will be diving deep into Musashi's philosophy and examining how the acceptance of death can lead to a life of decisive action, unclouded judgment, and freedom. We'll explore the immense power that comes from living without fear, and how this mindset can transform not just warriors, but everyday individuals like you and me. Musashi's view on death is not one of nihilism or despair. He does not encourage reckless abandonment of life, nor does he promote living with a constant sense of dread. Instead, he advocates for a life lived with death in mind, a life that acknowledges the impermanence of all things and uses that awareness to fuel better decisions. In his famous work, The Book of Five Rings, Musashi speaks not only about the technical aspects of swordsmanship, but about the art of living. One of the key lessons he imparts is that in order to truly master life, just as in martial arts, one must come to terms with death. Imagine you're a warrior preparing for battle. If you're consumed with fear of your own death or fear of losing the fight, your movements become hesitant. You second-guess yourself, hesitate at crucial moments, and your judgment is clouded. In contrast, if you accept that death is part of the journey and will arrive when it's meant to, you approach the challenge with clarity. Your actions become decisive, your mind becomes clear, and your presence becomes stronger. You no longer fight to avoid death. Instead, you fight with the knowledge that your life has value only when you live fully, without hesitation. This mindset isn't limited to warriors alone. Each of us faces battles of our own in everyday life, whether it's making difficult decisions, stepping out of our comfort zones, or confronting challenges that seem overwhelming. The fear of failure, of rejection, of dying in a metaphorical sense, often stops us from taking action. But imagine the courage we could summon if we stopped fearing the consequences, stopped worrying about the unknown, and embraced the reality that everything, good and bad, will pass. Death doesn't just belong to the end of our lives, it is present in each fleeting moment. The fear of death, when acknowledged and accepted, can free us from hesitation, guiding us toward greater purpose. It may sound counterintuitive, but by accepting death as inevitable, we actually gain more clarity. The fear of death clouds our judgment, filling us with anxiety about the future. When we no longer fear the unknown, we stop allowing the what-ifs of life to dictate our actions. We become more present in each moment, more capable of making clear, confident decisions without second-guessing. This is especially true in high-stakes situations, where the pressure to act decisively is paramount. For a warrior, whether it be on a battlefield or during a one-on-one duel, hesitation can be deadly. For any of us facing a challenge, whether in a career, a relationship, or even a personal goal, the same is true. Fear of making the wrong choice often leads to inaction, but when we embrace the fleeting nature of life, we are freed from the shackles of indecision. Musashi himself understood this intimately. He spent much of his life in conflict, honing his skills in swordsmanship and strategy. And yet, despite the constant threat of death, he was able to remain clear-headed and decisive. In his famous duel against Sasaki Kojiro, for example, Musashi didn't fear death, he anticipated it. He understood that in such high-stakes situations, there was no room for hesitation. He acted swiftly and decisively, making one of the most famous sword strikes in history. The same approach can be applied to our own lives. When we stop fearing death, when we accept that we have no control over when our lives will end, we realize that the only thing we truly control is how we live. Fear loses its grip, and clarity takes its place. Whether we are stepping into a new opportunity, taking a risk, or facing an unexpected challenge, the acceptance of mortality can provide the focus and determination we need to act boldly. One of the most important lessons Musashi imparts is that when we live without fear of death, we can live without regret. It's easy to look back on missed opportunities, unspoken words, or paths not taken and feel a sense of loss. But when we live with the awareness that time is finite, we are less likely to waste it. We make decisions with purpose, without allowing the fear of failure or fear of death to stand in our way. Every action, every decision becomes an expression of our deepest values and our most authentic self. To fear death is to fear the unknown, and when we fear the unknown, we let it control us. But if we are at peace with the transience of life, we can truly appreciate every moment we have. It's in this space that we find the courage to live fully, to speak our truth, and to take bold steps that align with our deepest desires. In fact, by living in a way that acknowledges the inevitability of death, we actually deepen our connection to life itself. We don't hold back from experiences, from learning, from growing. We embrace change, knowing that it is part of the journey. We accept the good and the bad, the highs and the lows, with the understanding that everything is temporary. The greatest warriors, whether in the field of battle or in the arena of life, are those who have learned to face death without fear. It is not that they are invincible or immune to fear. Rather, they have cultivated the mental strength to act in spite of it. Musashi's teachings remind us that living without the fear of death is a path toward mastering ourselves. It is a call to stand tall in the face of adversity and to act with the conviction that every moment is an opportunity to live to its fullest. This doesn't mean we need to become warriors in the traditional sense, but it does mean we can adopt the mindset of a warrior. We can approach life with discipline, focus, and the courage to make decisions based on what matters most, rather than what we fear. Life's challenges become opportunities to sharpen our own inner strength, and every experience, whether it brings success or failure, teaches us valuable lessons that propel us forward. So the question becomes, how can we start living like Musashi? How can we start living without fear of death? And how can we use this powerful philosophy to enhance every aspect of our lives? The key is in acknowledging the inevitability of death, accepting it, and using that acceptance as fuel to live more courageously, more decisively, and with a deep sense of presence. As you move forward, remember that life is not about avoiding death. It's about embracing every precious moment we have and making the most of it. By accepting death, we unlock the true power to live. Thank you for joining us on today's exploration of Musashi's profound wisdom. If you found value in this conversation and want to continue the journey of discovering deep, transformative insights that can impact your life, don't forget to subscribe to the Unfolding Journey YouTube channel. Stay tuned for more thought-provoking content that encourages you to live with purpose, courage, and clarity. Hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode, and together, let's continue to unfold the wisdom that guides us on our path. Until next time, embrace life, embrace death, and live fearlessly.